Okay, parallel perpendicular lines. I want you to take these two equations and graph them on the same coordinate plane. Okay, so the y's by themselves in both of them, so you got your m and b, m and b. So remember, m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Okay, so in the first equation we have a slope of -3 and a y-intercept of +6. Now the slope has to be a ratio, so we put a 1 under it. So on the y-axis you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then from there you go down 3, right 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, make the line. Okay, now in the other one you have a slope of -3 over 1 and the y-intercept's -1. So it has the same slope, so it's down 1, then it'd be down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. And what we have here are two lines that are parallel. They run like railroad tracks, okay? They will never cross, okay? These lines are parallel. Okay. Okay, they are parallel because if you look at the slopes, they're exactly the same. So and the m's in the equation match up, which tells you that they're parallel. Now, next problem, I want you to graph this one. Okay, so MB, MB. So slope, y-int. Okay, slope, y-int. So my slope is -1/2. +6 is my y-intercept. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from there it's down 1, 2 to the right. Okay. Now the other one, they're not going to be parallel because the slopes are not the same. So you got 2. And then -1, of course the slope is a ratio, so you got -1, that's your y-axis. And from there you go up 2, right 1. So up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. Now what these lines are going to do is they are going to form us a 90-degree angle, or they're supposed to if you draw it straight. Okay, they cross and they cross at an angle. This is a square corner, so that's 90 degrees, okay? That is known as perpendicular. Now, if you look at your slopes, they're not the same, but what they are is it's turned upside down, okay? And also, one's negative and one's positive. Now, next page. Parallel, the lines are the same slope. Perpendicular, we have to make sure the slope's a fraction. We need to reciprocate it, which means flip it, and we need to change the sign to the opposite. So what we're doing in this assignment is writing equations of parallel perpendicular lines. So I need to write an equation in slope-intercept form that is parallel to y equals 3x plus 2 through the point 2, 3. Okay, so I lay out my equation, y equals blank x plus blank, and you got m and b. You got to find the m, you got to find the b. So remember what these mean. M is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Now, the slope. Now, they say parallel, okay? So, in parallel lines, I mark the m and the b in the equation I'm given. I don't care what the b is, okay? Now, parallel lines have the same m, okay? Same slope. So, if m's 3 here, m has to be 3 here, okay? Now to find b, use the y equals m times x plus b. Okay, so m is 3, and then I use this solution point 2, 3 to find my b. So 3 is going to replace y, and 2 is going to replace x. So 3, and then you're going to have b plus, and then you find the 3 times 2 product, which is 6. Then you subtract 6 from each side, and you have -3 equals b. Okay, so if I were to graph this line and this line, they would be parallel. Okay, now if you want to check further, you go 3 times and you replace your x with 2 and add the -3, and when you click equals, you should get 3. which you do. Okay, parallel again to y equals negative 3/2 x plus 6, 3 over 2x through negative 6, 3. So again, we lay out the equation. Okay, so m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So parallel. Parallel means the m's have to match. They have to be the same. So y is by itself. So we got mx plus b. I don't care what the b is, but I know that they have to have the same m. So negative 3 over 2. Then on b, y equals m times x plus b. So the m is negative 3 over 2. And then 3 would replace the y, and negative 6 would replace the x. So we got 3, and then b plus. Then I take negative 3/2, negative 3 over 2 times negative 6, and I get 9. Okay. Then I subtract 9 from both sides, and we get negative 6 equals b. And you can check your answer the same way. Negative 3/2 times negative 6 plus negative 6, it should be 3. Okay, now we're going to switch gears on the next part. Now it says perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x minus 1 through negative 2, 3. So we lay out the equation. You got to remember to read the problem before you go into it. Now this says perpendicular. Perpendicular, you don't use the same m, you need to flip the m and make it the opposite sign. Flip m and opposite. So the m in the given the equation, the first equation, cross out the b, is 1 over 2. We need to flip it to 2 over 1. And if this m is positive, then mine has to be negative. Okay? So you flip it, make it the opposite sign. Now if you have a 1 in the denominator, you're just going to put negative 2. And then b, y equals m times x plus b. So my m value is negative 2. And then 3 replaces the y. Negative 2 replaces the x. So we got 3 b plus, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. So then I subtract 4 from each side, and negative 1 is equal to b. Okay, perpendicular to y equals 5x plus 4 through negative 5, 6. So I lay out the equation. So again, m is your slope, b is your y-intercept. Okay. So mb, okay, again, perpendicular means we need to flip the m and make it opposite. Okay, so first off, let's make the m into a fraction right here, 5 over 1, then I flip it to 1/5, and if it's positive here, I have to have negative. So negative 1/5 is the slope. And no, you can't put negative 5. The 1 has to be on the bottom for you to be able to put the integer value. And then b, y equals m times x plus b. So the m is negative 1/5. And then 6 is going to replace our y, and negative 5 replaces our x. So b plus, negative 1/5 times negative 5 is positive 1. So I subtract 1 from each side, and 5 is equal to b. Okay, now we're doing the same thing. Now we're back to parallel. Just see if you're paying attention. Y equals blank x plus blank, mb. So m's the slope, b's the y-intercept. So parallel means that the m's have to match. You have to have the same m. Okay, so mb. So if we have the same m, we're back to just taking the 5. And then by equals m times x plus b. So the m is 5. So negative 1 replaces the y, and 2 replaces x. B plus 5 times 2 is 10. Then you subtract 10 from each side. Negative 11 equals b. Okay. All right, parallel to y equals 9x through 0, negative 5. Okay. MB. So m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. Okay, again, y is by itself, so you got an m of 9. Now you're like, what about the b? Who cares? Okay, it's not like I use it anyway. It's parallel again, so we have to use the same m. Okay, so 9. Then on b, y equals m times x plus b. Now m is 9. Then negative 5 replaces the y, and then times 0. So you got negative 5. 9 times 0 is 0. So if it's 0, you write b, and that's your answer. You don't need to add 0. Okay, so it'd be just negative 5. And actually, your b is given to you because if the x has a coordinate of 0 and they give you the y, that's always going to be your b. If x is 0, because 0, negative 5 is on the y-axis. Okay, you go down 5. Okay, perpendicular y equals negative 3x plus 7 through 3, 5. Okay, so m, b. Okay, I don't care about b. Remember, we're back to perpendicular, so you got to flip the m and make it opposite. Okay, so to flip the m, it's got to be a fraction to begin with, then you flip it to 1/3, and if this is negative, my m has to be positive. Then b, y equals m times x plus b. Okay, so the m is 1/3. Use the m you have, not the one they have. Okay, then 5 is y, and then you take 1/3 times 3. 1/3 times 3 is 1. Subtract 1 from each side, and 4 equals b. Okay, last one. Perpendicular to y equals 8x minus 1 through the coordinate 4, 10. Okay. MB. Okay, so MB, so the perpendicular means you flip the M and make it opposite. Okay. So, need to flip it first, so flip to 1/8, and I make it opposite to negative. So negative 1/8. Then on B, y equals m times x plus b. So my m is negative 1/8, and 10 is y, and 4 is x. B plus. Now negative 1/8 times 4 is negative 1/2, so we're going to add 1/2 to each side. And 10 plus 1/2 is 10 and 1/2. Okay, so 10 1/2 would be your B. Okay, that's it.